Today on the Fairy Boss Mother Show,
I did want to come on this show with you because I knew you'd give me some critical and very good feedback that I could take on board.
I'm meeting with the workflow wizard himself, Daniel Whitworth,
I am the workflow wizard,
an automation specialist who just started his business and is ready for a serious leveling up. Okay, good. Gloves are on, knuckles are out. Daniel believes that he's done a great job with putting himself out there, from networking to rebuilding his website.
Most people are not actually looking for what it is I do.
But there are a few gaps in his marketing that is costing him money.
I really was looking up costumes the other day.
My job as your personal brand expert is to give real feedback, completely unfiltered. The dangers of taking on like the workflow wizard persona is Daniel gets watered down, and help him discover the opportunities that are missing. I'm going to dive deep into his online presence. You're in competition with someone who's an attempted killer to see what's working, what's not, and most importantly, what needs to change so that his business can go flying. The workflow wizard as acted by Daniel Whitworth.
Right.
This is where real talk meets real results. Let's jump in. Let's see what the fairy boss mother has to say. Now, before we meet Daniel, I asked him a few basic questions about his business so that I can see who I'm about to meet. Let's see what he has to say. When I asked him, what is your business all about and who do you serve? Daniel said, my business is all about helping business owners reclaim their time by automating administrative tasks, from simple invoice automations to full-scale operational overhauls. I create systems that free up valuable hours, adding weeks to your month and years to your life. I primarily serve small to medium-sized businesses that are ready to scale, but find themselves bogged down by manual time-consuming admin tasks. Wow, okay, so automation is definitely the name of his business, but automation is also something that sounds very techy, and not a lot of average people will know what he's doing and how his services will benefit them in the short and long term. I get the feeling he might have a little bit of a difficult time explaining exactly what he brings to the table and why people should pay him top dollar for that. When I asked him, what are your main goals for your business right now? Daniel said, my main goals right now are to cultivate long-term client relationships that lead on to ongoing collaboration and multiple automations built over time. Additionally, I'm focusing on developing a few apps that will not only provide value to my clients, but also establish a strong base of recurring revenue for my business. I love the fact that he's thinking active income and passive income at the same time. And clearly it looks like he's put in some time in his schedule to work on this app so that once the hard work of building and developing this app is to completion, he'll then have time to focus a lot of his attention in building that passive income. That's super smart. My next question was, what's the biggest challenge you're currently facing in reaching those goals? He said, ironically, it's time. Ta-da! The big old time factor. Okay. He then says, programming is incredibly time intensive, even when you're skilled at it. On top of that, my wife also works from home running her own business, and we homeschool our 6 kids. Damn, guy. So balancing work and family life adds an extra layer of complexity. My heart is so big for working parents who are also entrepreneurs. Oh, and they've got 6 kids. I have 1, and I'm like, oh, big respect. So if time is the issue, then I'm wondering how he's actually bringing in clients into his business right now, or if that's something that's on the back burner if he wants to build up his business. His business definitely sounds like it's in the infancy stage. So I'm curious to know what I could do to bring his personal brand forward into his business so that he can actually raise his market value whilst he's working on developing his other product. Last but not least, have you done any work on your personal brand? And he said, yes, I have. Wow, I'm really surprised by that. Okay, he said, my website was professionally designed by a colleague and recently updated with a refresh logo. Okay, that's not your personal brand. Your website and your logo and your colors are not your personal brand. But let me see what else he says. I've also launched a newsletter where I share the stories of my automation builds, framing them as epic fantasy adventures. Okay, we're getting down to Daniel's personality. This is exciting. He also says, it's been a fun and creative way to embrace my inner wizard, sweet, and connect with my audience. Okay, I'm super excited to meet this workflow wizard, and he actually does love fantasy. So I'm excited. Let's meet Daniel Whitworth. Daniel, it's so awesome to see you, my workflow wizard bro. Today, do you want the full fairy boss mother where I'm not sugarcoating things and it's like real straight talk? Or do you want the kitty gloves on and I can go easy on you?
Oh, give me the real thing, the real thing.
I love it when people say that because it's like, okay, good. Gloves are on, knuckles are out. Who are you? What do you do? What is your business?
I am Daniel, but I also go by my business name. I am the workflow wizard. It's not that we are, I am the workflow wizard. And basically, I'm an expert programmer. I'm an expert automator. I can do things for people where that saves them crazy amounts of time by automating all of their various administrative processes in their businesses. So typically small businesses, a lot of like automating invoicing, automating reports, automating emails, things like that. It's a lot of that busy work, and it just saves them crazy amounts of time. Been programming for over 20 years. Oh, and I'm married for just about to hit 20 years. My wife and I, in a couple weeks, and we have 6 kids together. So you could say I'm a little busy.
Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations on your wedding anniversary, and hello to all 6 of your kids.
Yeah.
Some of us have one and we're just like, one is enough, and you have 6 and you're both working from home, right? You and your
Yeah.
wife have your own businesses.
Yeah, we do. We both work from home, both have online businesses. We also homeschool our kids. So you could say we spend a lot of time at home. Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, the word automation, right? That
Mm-hmm.
sounds like a really scary word. So, for the viewers out there who have no idea what you're talking about, if you were to describe what automation means, what is that?
Okay, so automation is where things happen for you that you normally have to do manually. So a good example, something I've done for a lot of different people, is automating invoicing. So if you're in a business and you have to invoice people for the services you provide for them, that can get pretty tedious. Like you're doing QuickBooks, you got to go in, you got to click 100 times. Maybe you have to add a new contact. Maybe you have to add different line items. And so it can take you like 10 or 15 minutes just to create a single invoice. And it's like, well, that's not a big deal. But what if you have to do that 300 or 400 times a month? Now that's like hours and hours of literally just clicking, copying and pasting, more clicking. And what I can do is I can make all of that stuff literally just happen like magic. And so automation is when these things that you're normally having to do manually, clicking and swiping and copying and pasting and scrolling and all these little things that you have to do just over and over and over and over again, I can make them so that they just happen. And maybe you get an email that says, hey, this is done. And you didn't have to do it yourself. So
Yeah.
that's what automation is. It's when it's all those things just happening by themselves.
That sounds like a dream because those minutes add up. And
They
then
do.
I was supposed to do this one thing, and now my whole day is gone. Where did the time go?
Exactly. Exactly. It's very easy to spend a lot of time on the things that take very little time.
Mm.
It's because it's what I call all those 2-minute tasks that you do a few thousand times in a day. That's a lot of hours, or 1,000 times in a week. That adds up, those 2-minute tasks. So one person that I automated invoicing for, she said it saved her 50 hours per month. 50. That's like
That's
a
insane.
week's worth of work spent making invoices that now she has completely free and back.
Your name is going to be on the I need to hire guy because that's my reality right now. What got you here, Daniel?
So I've been programming for over 20 years, honestly, as a hobby. Picked it up in college back 20 years ago. And then during my time in the Navy, I was in ministry for a little while. I just kept writing programs and doing just because it's fun for me. Long story short, I ended up coaching. I was part of an organization that was coaching people to do online business. And I got well known as the tech guy. And someone asked me, hey, can I pay you to make this automation that basically would send out text messages? And I was like, oh, okay, you want to pay me for that? Because again, I just do it for fun. And so I did. I made this really awesome automation for her. She paid me, and I was just like, maybe other people would be willing to pay me to do this. And so I decided to start doing this as a business. And I've only been doing it as a business for a little over a year.
The fact that you've turned a hobby into a business, and now this is the thing that you do full time, and you're still able to homeschool your kids and from home. I think that's really admirable. That's the dream for so many people, and you are living that right now. So hats off to you, my friend. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
So now let's talk about how your brand actually shows up online, starting with first impressions. I mean, already like you've got your logo right there for people to see, and the time with the dollar sign is so appropriate because you're saving people money so that they're not spending their time on like small little menial tasks when they're looking for someone like you, right? They haven't discovered you yet. How do you think they might check you out? Like, do you think they'll look on your website, your social media to get a sense of who you are?
So one of the challenges that I find with my line of business is not a lot of people even know what I do is possible.
Yeah.
Like it's not on their radar to think, oh, I'm doing all this busy work. I wonder if there's someone who could automate this for me. Like it just doesn't enter their brain. So most people are not actually looking for what it is I do. So I kind of have to seek them out. And I actually found some of my first customers through Facebook, a Zapier Facebook group. So Zapier is a software that does a lot of automations. And so people actually do go there looking for help. And so I was able to get some that way. But if they're just looking, I don't know, Googling it or whatever, or social media, that's a challenge for me. Is like, how do I put stuff out there that like captures people's imagination? That's why I really focus on time, because talking about, yeah, I can automate invoices and I can do this coding and I could talk all this technical jargon stuff. But at the end of the day, what I really provide people is time and giving them lots of time back. So that's kind of the way I've tried to focus my marketing and image and stuff. Even my logo has the guy with the clock, right? Is the wizard and stuff. So
that's why I was asking about what does automation actually mean? Because your average client won't automatically go, yeah, I need an automations guy. And yet Daniel is right there. So it's not a common thing that people will look for, right? I'm Googling your name right now because you came on my radar and I'm like, okay, I'm curious about the workflow wizard. What do you hope I will find?
Well, I hope you'll at least find my website. It's possible you might find some other things called wizards, because there's other types of software called wizards. But I went with my website. I wanted it to be kind of fun and engaging. I also do a newsletter that I literally like tell the stories of the things that I build in automation, but in a themed like epic novel, fantasy novel kind of things. And it is challenging. I hope they find answers to their questions. Like, what's this thing that I need? I'm not even sure. Oh, wait, that can be done. That's kind of what I would hope for. They could find is like answers to the questions they don't even know they're asking.
All right. With that in mind, Daniel, let's take a quick look at Google.
Okay,
and I'm not going to just Google your company name. I'm looking at you.
The first one that pops up isn't me.
So this is Daniel Whitworth, and this is...
That's not me. No.
It looks like you're about to get arrested or something. So
yeah.
Yay.
I'm not the only one with that name. Let's see here.
So it seems like the same Daniel's been... Oh, Daniel the Killer. Okay.
There's music. Yeah, there's music. Clearly don't have my name out there as a big Google presence, at least not above these other guys with my name. So
no. Number one, that's the first thing we need to like work on is your findability, because at the end of the day, Daniel, this is your business. We want to make sure that when people look at you, it is associated with your business.
I see. Yeah.
So the workflow wizard and Daniel Whitworth shouldn't be separated. They should be married together.
Okay.
Right. So I'm on the 4th page of Google now, and I have not found your website yet.
Because it's not danielwhitworth.com.
No, it doesn't even have to be. Like, this is danielwhitworthmusic.com. I'm scared. I'm going to look at danielwhitworth.com and see what happens.
It'll probably take you to the workflow wizard, I think.
I hope so, because that would be great. But you're not showing up as that at all. Okay.
Yeah. So I have it's an alias domain. That's what it is. So
which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm curious to now know why danielwhitworth.com isn't even showing up.
The actual content is on the workflowwiz.com, and danielwhitworth.com literally just redirects to that. And so actually you see there I am right down there. Look, bottom left.
One picture, there's 2 pictures. So these are...
Yeah, look, I'm surprised I'm even on there at all.
You're in competition with someone who's an attempted killer in the UK.
Yeah. Okay.
When people think Daniel Whitworth, it would be fantastic to think Daniel Whitworth, the workflow wizard, right? That's the dream. So let's take a quick look at your website. So you mentioned privately to me that your website is newly designed, right?
Relatively new. I think it's been about 6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
The logo is very new. It's only 2 months old. Yeah. Both designed by the same person.
Okay, great. So if someone is checking you out on your website for the first time, what do you think they'll see?
Well, I hope they'll see that headline that says, what could you do with an extra 50 hours per month? And then that might intrigue them to read a little bit more.
Let's see what the fairy boss mother has to say. So I'm going to go on your website. You know, the first thing that tells me, Daniel, that pulls at my heartstrings a little bit.
What?
I wish this was your face.
Yeah, it's AI generated. So yeah, eventually I probably will get some actual, no kidding, like cosplay photos done of me in a full wizard garb and everything. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But you know, even AI generated image, you can have your face on it. There's a lot of AI tools out there
True. It's
that will
true.
mimic you. So you don't necessarily have to like cosplay yourself.
But it would be fun.
That's true. That's true. So okay, let's put a pin in that one because I think there's other ways that we can get you in a costume as a workflow wizard. I think that's the first thing that I noticed was I wish this was your face and this represented you in your business.
Okay.
Let's make these images of you, even if it's AI generated, because I think the AI generated thing works really well with what you're providing.
Yeah, I'll have to look into what I can find that would do that would actually put my face on it.
Your headline, Daniel, I love it. What could you do with an extra 50 hours per month? But the sentence feels a little incomplete to me.
Okay.
It's like, what can you do with 50 hours instead of doing what? And then instead of doing what is the thing that you're taking away from your clients, right?
Okay. So instead of just kind of the open-ended 50 hours per month, it'd be like have some sort of instead of in there. I see what you're saying.
Like, what is the biggest thing that your clients will think, you know what, I hate doing this, is the bane of my existence. Daniel, take it away from me.
There's a combination of things that falls under for people. So it's hard to pin down one thing, but
yeah. Instead of spending time on administration, like online admin tasks, that way you're giving like an A to B comparison of, I don't want to do admin tasks like emails. I would love to get my 50 hours back because your time you can't get back. Money you can always get back. Your time is like, that's it, it's gone.
Right. No, that's good. That's good feedback. I'll have to talk with my friend Chat. His name's Chat GPT. He'll help me come up with a better headline.
Under that, it says that's precisely what automating your admin can do for you at a fraction of the cost of hiring an extra employee. I can see what you did there, but again, even though automation is your thing, think of automation as your tool brush, like your painting brush. The painter never talks about their paintbrush. They talk about the result, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Your messaging could be slightly more tightened up because I think, again, no one looks for automation when they're Googling you.
Right.
But they will look for, I hate Zapier. How the hell do I use it? Because Zapier is one of the biggest automation tools, but it is complicated. These things that you mentioned here, so you've got workflow consulting. No one really understands what workflow means unless you do what you do, Daniel. You know, you're a programmer, workflow is a thing. Unless you're a project manager, workflow is a thing. For your clients, which we'll talk about in a minute, they probably have never even heard of the word workflow.
It's quite possible. Yeah.
That word is like going whoosh, and it's like, oh no, I have to educate myself on what this workflow wizard does. And that's too much. That's more time out of my day to know what you do. I don't understand it. So you're still speaking a foreign language to them.
Okay, that's right? Good.
Sorcerer of systems, wizard of workflow. So yes, I can see that you're using the fantasy language a lot. But how many of your clients actually like the fantasy genre? Do you think that could be something that might be scaring them off to hiring you?
It's possible, I suppose. It's possible. But I also kind of approach things in such a way that I actually don't need a million people to find and hire me. So if they don't like that particular style, there's other people that do similar things that I do. But, I get what you're saying.
So you have this workflow wizard, right? I guess he's your alias. So to speak, just like the fairy boss mother is my alias. But I'm not seeing Daniel yet. I'm seeing this persona that you've created for yourself. But look, you and I are talking in this Zoom call right now. I'm not talking to the workflow wizard, like i.e. this AI generated guy. I'm talking to you, Daniel.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely on this page, you wouldn't know it was me until you clicked over on the About Me page and actually saw a picture of me. Yeah.
So I think it's important here, somewhere on the homepage, to actually say, I am Daniel Whitworth, the workflow wizard, and then establish yourself as, this is my character. I am the boss of this business. and
Uh-huh.
be your workflow wizard, so that way you're like marrying the two like personas together.
Yeah, that way it's a little less of not generic, but it's clearly not personal here
Yeah.
anywhere on this page. It's more of a words and AI images. It's not really pointing to me personally doing this work. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Even
that
though
way
all the words actually say I and me and stuff like that. Yeah.
we don't know who I is right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
haven't established that. I was really happy to see was you were owning the I, because I know, remember, like we talked in the past, then you were saying we a lot, and I'm like, who the hell is we? So you definitely embodied the I. This is my business. I'm the workflow wizard,
Uh-huh.
and I'm seeing all those changes there. So that's a real big progress right there. And then why do people call me the wizard? Scroll for yourself. So that's great. You're owning the fact that this is you. Those are some of the things that pop out for me. So do you feel like this aligns with how you want your clients to feel about your business?
I think it would be better. What you're suggesting is if I did certainly have more of a personal me presence on the homepage there. And like you said, using some wording, because like I said, this has been a challenge for me from the start is how to use words so that people who are not technical and whatnot grasp what it is I'm talking about. And so that confirms, some of the what you're saying about the wording of things. And so that's certainly I can go back and do some rework on wording these things in a way that non-technical people would, not feel intimidated or whatever by.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You're taking away the intimidation of using apps and technology. That is one of your biggest selling points, because here you've listed all of the different like apps and the last bullet point says, and many more, because there are millions of apps out there
So many.
yeah, it's like, which one do you pick? For email marketing, you've got like 100 different choices.
Mm-hmm.
So the marketing choice is overwhelming with apps. Using it is a whole other like degree to like understand it. But you're taking away that intimidation level for a lot of business owners now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? And I think that's where your messaging is. It's number one, I'm a real great guy. You'd love to work with me. I know all of these fancy techie stuff that you don't need to like learn about, so that you can continue to run your business and not waste 50 hours per week like this client,
Uh-huh.
and continue like growing your business and making that money and actually doing the thing that you love doing in your business instead of this BS right here.
Yeah,
That's the stuff that I love doing. Give me the things that I love to do and pay me for it.
that's right. That's right.
Right? All right.
Well, that's good. That's good. This is recorded, right? I'll be able to just like take that and like
Snip, snip, snip. That's the first impressions I get just looking at your homepage. Everything that I've said, do you feel like your website is like representing you better now, or not the way it should be?
I think it could certainly be better. The feedback you've given me, I think is very good feedback, and I will take it on board. I'm definitely going to look up how can I put my face on that wizard. I've already known that I've needed some work on my website. It's not something I spend a lot of time on because I spend all my time building automations instead. So I did want to come on this show with you because I knew you'd give me some critical and very good feedback that I could take on board. So yeah.
That's just one feedback based on like the first time seeing your website. Dream big for a second, right? I want you to like really be creative and adventurous with me. Let's imagine everything fell into place, right? You're not spending crazy amounts of time doing all the automations, right? Because I know that one of the challenges that you have in your business is it takes a long time to do what you
Yeah. It's a little ironic that I save other people time by having to spend my own time to create those things. Yeah, it's very time intensive. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And because it's time intensive, like you said earlier, it's challenging for you to take a lot of clients on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is why personal branding is so important, Daniel, because when you do get a client, let's get a client who's going to pay you a lot of money to do all the things that you're doing, rather than getting like change here, there, and in lots of different places.
Yeah.
It needs to mean something. It needs to matter. The fact that you've landed this client, their automation or their business is a hot mess because they have all of these apps on their tablet, their phone,
Yeah.
computer, the cloud even, if everything fell into place, right, all of a sudden you have time, you have really great clients. Where would your business be in 5 years from today?
Where I hope to be in 5 years. I've never been very good at this kind of like long-term thinking, but recently I have been able to imagine these things. What I really like when it comes to business is recurring revenue. So monthly subscriptions, annual subscriptions, things that are just on autopilot where they're just paying me for something I already did. right?
Yep. Yep.
That's a goal of mine, is to build as many of those things as I can, so that within 5 years, I have someone I've hired to handle all of the various maintenance and like my busy work. Because
Mm.
my busy work is going to be stuff that I need another programmer to do. It's not going to be the kind of thing I can automate for the most part. And then I'm only taking on the big projects that I just want to because they're interesting to me, because I'm already making so much money off of these programs that I've created that are just, on the Chrome, Google Chrome Web Store or wherever else, and people are just paying me monthly for the access to those things. So that's kind of the longer picture I see for myself, is that I still want to stay in the game of programming, but I recognize after doing this for a year now that if I had to do this all the time, it would burn me out after a while, even as much as I
Definitely.
love programming. So,
And that's something that we want to avoid. Your personal brand can actually help you get there. When you build
mhm.
a really powerful personal brand, your burnout gets shorter because you're now focusing on things that are much higher level. You're
Yeah.
able to delegate tasks, the small little tasks, to somebody else, maybe even just like one person in your team. They can work remotely somewhere else. On top of that, you mentioned you want to work on the things that you really love to work on. What is that?
I like solving large, complex problems. That's honestly what I love to work on when it comes to. I do currently take on pretty large clients that end up having me work with them over months and months and months of building, just really, really revolutionizing their whole administrative processes. And that's fun. The more interesting and complex and something new and something different, building a whole new application or software or something like that. Those would be the kind of things I would want to do if I could just have my druthers and pick whatever I want. It's beneficial right now. I'm doing a lot of business with like transaction coordinators in real estate, and I have a great niche there, but I end up doing the same thing kind of over and over and over again. It's
Mhm.
different for each person, but at the end of the day, it's still kind of nothing really new. What I would like to be able to do is to have the freedom to be like, hey, all my bills are paid and I'm making enough money that, look, I don't have to take on every client that comes my way. Oh, but that one sounds really interesting. Yes, I'll do
Yeah.
that one.
And then what does that mean personally for you? Imagining that this is what your life looks like right now.
Yeah, it's more freedom because I'll be one in a financial place where now, like, so we work from home, we homeschool our kids. If we want to travel to Europe because we feel like it, like, that's the
Mm.
kind of thing I want to have the freedom to do. And if I don't have a lot of clients, but I
Yeah.
still have plenty of money, then that makes that possible. But I still have my fingers in it because I'm working on a really big project that's probably going to take a year to do. And it's just wildly interesting to me. And so it's the best of both worlds. It's like I don't have to do it, but I get to do it.
Yeah.
And when if I need to take a month off, then I take a month off. That kind
Yeah.
of thing. So it's it's
And that
it's
doesn't
it's a lot,
impact your business whatsoever
right?
because you've automated your life now where you can just go on autopilot. Things are happening in the background and you can dip out of your business without your absence affecting your business,
Exactly.
right?
Hmm.
Okay. So what do you feel is holding you back from actually like getting there?
I think I'm actually on my way there. If I had started this 5 years ago, I'd be there already. Yeah, and now it's just a matter of building the things that are going to accomplish that. And I'm in the process of doing that. I don't think there's like anything necessarily holding me back. It's more of just I'm on the right path, and if I keep at it and keep working hard at it, it's going to get there, and not too long in the future.
It's just a matter of time, right?
Matter of time.
What if you can get there faster?
Well, that would be interesting if I could.
Your current brand as it is right now is actually helping you get closer to that dream, or do you feel like there's something else holding you back from making that happen a little bit quicker?
I think my personal brand could help with that. I don't know if anything's holding me back. It really comes down to time, because most of my marketing efforts are all network marketing, because conversations lead to things like this. It really the only thing that's holding me back is that there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
a lot of your time is going towards setting up these automations, right?
Yeah.
um, for your clients, and then you're then having a gap of, holy crap, I need to find another client to fill the next spot and the next spot. So I feel like you're chasing after your leads rather than attracting your leads. They don't even know how to find you.
So far, I haven't seemed to have had a problem getting new leads, because like I said, I got into this really cool niche where I get a lot of referrals that I didn't even look for.
Yeah.
No, but I get what you're saying. That certainly can happen. You get it done with all of the projects, and now you're like, I don't have any leads because I didn't spend any time actually doing the networking. And it would be useful and helpful if leads just were coming my way because they found me on Google or wherever else that my stuff happens to show up. So it certainly could be beneficial. At the moment, I would say I'm not having that problem, but that might not be true in 3 months from now. So we'll see.
I don't think you're going to continue to have this problem because, hey, look, first year in your business and you are doing really, really well and you've done so much to set yourself up for success. So let's take that as a really big win for you, Daniel. There's a lot that you've done for yourself. And on top of that, you have created a niche for yourself that is quite low in competition, unless like you just happen to find somebody on like Upwork or Fiverr or something. Like the level of like detail that you go into and the depth of knowledge that you have in the programming world and being able to apply all of that to the real world that an average person will understand. Like, I'm going to hand it to you. That's really great. That's something that is really like, we should applaud that. So
thank you.
It's not
Thank
easy.
you.
It's not an easy thing to do.
But a lot of people that I interact with, once they, they know I'm a programmer and all that, they're surprised that I'm actually like friendly, stuff like that.
What we can then do is, like I said, your business and you in your business is a little bit separated. So we really need to integrate it. And you don't have to take on that workflow wizard persona. You don't. I'm not dressed up in a tiara and a fairy or whatever. Like, that's not me. That's like my 4-year-old's dream, but that's not me.
I really was looking up costumes the other day because there's a conference that I might be going to next year for the transaction coordinators, and I'm like, wow, how fun would it be if I literally dressed up like my logo guy there?
Yeah.
So just so you know, my personality, that is not outside the realm of the possibilities. I have been known to dress up in costumes before at normal human functions. So
yeah, and that's great. Like, if that's, do you, but do you times 100, Daniel. Like, I want to see you everywhere doing your thing. The dangers of taking on like the workflow wizard persona is Daniel gets watered down. So when you take off like that persona, that mascot, will people recognize you? Right. Or will people go, who's this guy? Is this Daniel's tech guy? Is this the workflow wizard's tech guy? You're technically yes, but you want to ensure that people recognize you as the workflow wizard, not the other way around.
The other way around. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
You want to play the part, but you want to play the part as Daniel, as the workflow wizard, and not the workflow wizard as acted by Daniel Whitworth.
right. Yeah. Or the only time you ever see me in public is in costume. Like, that would not be a good thing. Right. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like in human clothes. You're like, who the hell is that?
Who's that guy? Yeah.
It's like when a cop takes off their uniform and you're like, I don't recognize you on the street. You don't have your uniform on. One of the things that you could potentially work on is your image consulting. Who is Daniel and how can you still be the workflow wizard without having all of the costume on? So that way you become more recognizable. Just for the audience, what do you say about me when I show up in our calls?
Oh, you're awesome. Like, you are very much you. You have a very good persona about you, but I don't think it's a persona. I think it's actually who you are. I bet you, obviously, we don't live near each other. I haven't seen you outside of a Zoom call, but I'd imagine that that's who you are all the time. But you definitely do a great job of, you're the fairy boss mother, but you're you. Like, it's your face, it's your branding, it's how you dress, it's the way you present yourself. So I think you do an excellent job of it.
Like, copy and paste it. Like, let's mirror that. That's what I want to see with you as well. I still very much want you to be you. Like, if you're this geeky tech nerd who loves fantasy, absolutely go 100% in on that. And the people who love that will love you harder, Daniel, for doing that. And the people who don't love you, but they respect the work that you're doing, they're still going to pay you the money that you deserve. Those are some of the tweaks that I would recommend that you do so that you are very much you. You are a lot more present in your business. And one thing, because you've got a niche, Daniel, the social media space would be perfect for you. Have you ever thought about just being more present, like on things like Instagram?
I have thought about it. It's just not fun for me. That'd be the kind of thing that I would honestly hire someone else to do for me. I have a Facebook profile. I barely ever post on there. I have a Facebook page for my business. I've played around on Instagram. My wife's big on TikTok. Like, she's got hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok for her nursing tutoring thing. But I recognize the power of it.
You would kill it on social media because, number one, you have a very, very unique niche. Not a lot of people are talking about the work that you do. Number two, Daniel, you don't have to talk about things that are not known to you, you'll be talking about automation, like the really nitty-gritty stuff. So there's 100 million, like hundreds of questions that people will have just about Zapier. Now, imagine you had a series about what the hell is Zapier? What does it do for your business? Why does this thing not work? This is one tweak that you can make to make your email run like fire without you ever touching it. 30-second tips. You're just showing a thing.
That's not so hard. Yeah.
No, it's not hard. This is what you do. And this is something that you could really geek out over. But the difference is, Daniel, you are no longer gatekeeping that information.
I see.
Yeah, you're sharing this information. You're talking about, like on your website, it talks about custom Google Chrome extensions.
Yeah.
And it's that, right? We can talk in depth about this. And what you're doing is now creating an audience of people who know this is important for them. They see it on their computer every single day, but they don't have a freaking clue what the power that this app can actually have in their life.
I probably could do lots of different videos of showing the different kind of automations I built and how to use them and all that kind of stuff and all the tools and fun things. Yeah, I can do that.
Fun things. You said it. I didn't use that word. You said fun things. This will become part of your business now. This is part of your marketing. And this is something that you can kind of like embed into your business as just another thing that you do in your business. And that way, this is how you become known as the workflow wizard. You can start cosplaying and putting on your outfit, because once in a while, we don't want to be taught all the time, right? It's getting boring. Daniel in his like workflow wizard costume could be the entertainment that your audience is desperately looking for. Except this is really you. Like you really like doing this stuff.
Yeah.
But now you have an outlet and an audience and let's not say an audience. You have a platform and a stage where you can be the workflow wizard, even if no one is watching you, because you do that anyway.
I do. Yeah.
So why not do it in front of other people? And then this is how you become known as your persona. People start to understand automation because you're not hammering that word into their faces. And then over time, you are growing your business. You're doing the things that you love doing. If you and I were to work together, I have a very precise process on how you can bring in like small dollar amount of clients that you don't have to do. Someone else can do that. But that's pulling in money into your business just by you showing up on social media, being the workflow wizard. How did all of that sound to you in terms of like your brand, your goals, your next steps, some of the tweaks that we've been talking about? What do you feel is the biggest thing that you could work on today based on our conversation?
Yeah, I think starting, work on today, or at least in the very near future, would be putting myself more on the front page of the workflow wizard, figuring out a way to make it so my name actually shows up in the Google list associated with me as opposed to someone else with my name. So definitely those are some things I could work on today.
Do you feel like the tweaks that we discussed today, Daniel, are something that you can like actually tackle on your own? Or do you think having someone to guide you through it will make the process a whole lot easier?
It certainly would be easier with guidance.
Like the fairy boss mother, maybe?
Like someone like you, that's right. I know who to call.
What is the one thing that you learned from the fairy boss mother today?
One thing I learned from the fairy boss mother today. Yeah, I think that the big one was the idea that me and the workflow wizard are not two different things. That whole thing where it does need to be me, not just this persona. And I think you illustrated it really well with how on my homepage, you don't see me at all. There's only like a little sidebar on the About Me page. I never really thought about that too much before, about how I really do need to put my own face on that wizard, things like that, and make this the Daniel show, not just the wizard show, so to speak.
Definitely showing up a little bit more intentionally in your business, so that I want you to go to Europe. There's a lot to see there. I would love to see you just say, you know what, family, I'm pulling you guys out from homeschooling because you're home. You don't even have to go to an institution. So you do have that freedom of time if you wanted, because nothing is holding you back from just doing something completely different out of your day-to-day. I would love to help you get there faster.
Okay.
That you can establish Daniel Whitworth as the workflow wizard. People really understand the huge value that you're really bringing into people's lives, because we are surrounded by all of these apps and automation systems and not really knowing how the puzzle work.
Yeah.
without spending a ton of time like you already demonstrated. So if people wanted to get in touch with you and learn a little bit more about how you can make their life a lot easier, Daniel, what is the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, probably just to visit that website you showed. It's theworkflowwiz.com, because the wizard is taken and costs like thousands of dollars to buy. I'm like, whatever, don't need it. And I have my email on there, as well as like you can book a discovery call with me if you've got some, lack of a better term, automation needs. I'll think of a better word for that. If you'd like to save lots of time in your business, then visit my website and book a call with me, and we can talk about how I can do that for you.
If you want to see Daniel on Instagram showing up in his like wizard garb, and you want to learn a little bit more about how automation can really save a lot of time, why don't you comment and like and follow this show and tell Daniel, get on Instagram. Let's gently encourage him, not bully him.
There we go. Gently.
Very gently encourage you. Get on social media, show your face, and like do your thing, Daniel, because I think what you've got is so awesome.
I'll think about it for sure. You're not the only person. You're not the only person that's told me that I could do videos and stuff. So
I'm just another voice reiterating literally what everyone else is saying, the same thing about you. So yeah. Well, Daniel, it was wonderful having you on my show. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and all the amazing things that you do. And
yeah, my pleasure.
Hope to see you soon. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fairy Boss Mother Show and you're a small business owner, apply to be a guest on the show and get your very own live brand review. You can apply by going to my website, www.bossdiplomat.com, or snap the QR code on this video. See you soon.